Good evening. How have we got sound? Hope everybody is well. Just waiting to see if we've got sound. I'm actually doing it from my computer and I've never done it from my computer before, so I'm not sure how this is going to go. Have we got sound? Can someone please confirm sound? Someone confirm sound for me. Someone make me happy and confirm sound. Yeah, okay, cool. So we've got sound. Sound on. Yes, wonderful, thank you. Okay, we're good to go. Let's do this. Okay, so it's interesting, I'm doing this from my computer. I've never done it from my computer before. So we'll see. Hopefully we don't have any other issues. Three is my favourite. Third time lucky, yeah? Cool. So people are coming on now. Okay. So can you pop a number 1 in the comment box if you're coming on, because I don't know that you're here. And if you're new, let me know that you're new. Put new in the comment box as well. That'd be wonderful. Okay. So time healing all wounds. So number 1 in the comment box, let me know that you're here. And new, if you're new, of course. And this is a really, really interesting subject matter. This is a really interesting topic, yeah? So that old saying, time heals all wounds. It doesn't. It is a contributing factor to time healing, to ourselves moving through moving through a healing state, moving through a place where we can connect to self once again, where we can find that inner homeostasis, inner equilibrium within self. But time itself does not heal wounds. Time is a medium where we are able to act in a particular way, behave in a particular way, and understand self in a particular way. And time allows us to do that, but time itself does not heal. Time itself does not allow us to find reprieve. What does allow us to find reprieve is attention to self, attention to our inner state, moving with a very careful, articulated intention, and going deep within self. And that is bound by the conceptual notion of time. So time itself does not heal wounds. Let's be very, very deeply clear about that. And we want to understand that whatever experiences we turn away from in life, our brain body registers them as dangerous or colloquial. So if we are ignoring pain that we've experienced in our lives, if we are ignoring hurtful experiences that we have gone through or moved through in life, and we think that over time the intensity of that pain diminishes, we are very wrong in that sense. Remember, whatever experiences we turn away from, our brain body registers them as something that's dangerous or colloquial. So if something is dangerous to us, if we are not connected to that experience, we will continue to move away from it. We won't learn what we need to. We won't gain wisdom as we need to in that experience that we're purposely avoiding. Remember, what we resist in life persists. What experiences we choose to resist in life persists in our life, whether it be conscious or unconscious. And it's important that we understand. In fact, it's imperative that we understand that. So by pushing painful experiences away and expecting time, or the notion of time, to simply pass, and for those experiences to diffuse, though that pain to just diminish, we're very wrong about that. It will be stored in our unconscious selves, our body, our neural system, our physiology and our psychology will register that as something that is dangerous because it is not equilibrated. It is not understood. It is not connected to. It is not truly felt for what it is worth, and therefore we cannot gain the wisdom, the articulate wisdom we require in order to move well beyond that as time goes on. So give me a number 2 in the comment box if you can resonate with what I've just said. Give me a number 2 in the comment box if you can begin to understand that going deep into our pain bodies, or at least addressing our pain bodies in some capacity, and I'll speak to some coping strategies around that in a moment, and I'll speak to what processes we can actually use, what neurological processes but also emotional processes we can use that will assist us in moving past these pain points, yeah? So time does not heal all wounds. When we address our wounds, when we address our pain points, when we address what is hurting us, what ails us, what gives us pain, that assists us in shifting the pain, transmuting the pain, observing it very differently, being in a different relationship with the pain. Nicole said it perfectly. The way out is through. The way out of what? The way out of not being in homeostasis. The way out of not being in balance. The way out of not being connected to self. The way out of not understanding self. The way out of being completely disconnected from self. So Angie says, is that why we ruminate after pain? Absolutely. We ruminate because we don't explore our pain. How do we discover new lands? How do we discover new innovations, new technologies? How do we discover a new way of being? We do that through deep exploration, exploration of self. We cultivate new habits, we cultivate new innovative ways of being and dealing with the world by exploring. So why do we not explore our pain? Why do we not explore our fears? Well, we don't explore our fears and our pain and situations that we perceive as destitute or disconnected because they're scary, because they hurt, because it's too raw often to be able to go through that pain, to be able to connect to that pain, to be able to understand self and feel self fully in that pain. Give me number 3 in the comment box if there have been times in your life where you have felt so much pain and disconnect, so much disharmony, so much fear that you have just suppressed it, that you have just resisted going deep into it, that you have shun away from it, that you've moved past it. Give me number 3 in the comment box if you've been that person some time in your life. I have been that person for sure, and what has happened is that those scenarios continue to play in my life. Tara says the most innovative minds are the ones who had curious minds and believed they could create something different the world needed. Absolutely, completely agree with that, Tara. And that goes the same for self as well. Yeah, it's so important that we understand that is exactly the same for self. Now, the path of least resistance, as Anya says, the path of least resistance. I'm going to comment on that in a moment. I want to understand what Anya's trying to say there. But the path of least resistance is a path of flow. We often associate the path of least resistance, though, with the path of suppression or avoidance. And that's not the path of least resistance. Avoiding our pain is actually not the path of least resistance. You know that old saying, ignorance is bliss? Yeah, ignorance is bliss because it's easy. But it's easy in a way that's temporal. It's immediate self-gratification. Prolongs our pain though. That's a problem, yeah? That's a deep problem for who we are. Number 1 in the comment box if you're just coming on, people, so that I know that you're here. And if you're new to this live feed, please put new, so the tribe and the community can welcome you. There's so many beautiful souls and beautiful people here, so they will welcome you with open arms, I'm sure. So we begin to understand that, again, what we resist persists, and we're going to speak to something that's really, really important, and it's called titration. And titration is methodical exposure without coming undone. It's a slow exposure to our pain. It's a slow exposure to our feeling body. It's a slow exposure to the fear or the difficulty, the challenge that we are experiencing. And it's known as titration. So we're going to speak to slow methodical exposure in a moment. And when we're going to speak to it now, actually. So when we do this, we begin to understand that we are exposing ourselves just enough to connect deeply to what it is that we are experiencing. just enough that we don't completely come undone, that we don't lose our minds, that we don't actually become so deeply disconnected from self that we actually lose ourselves in that journey of self-identification, that journey of doing our best to attain wisdom and teachings and growth and lessons from these experiences that are so deeply painful, yeah? Titration, what we want to be engaging in, is something known as pendulation. And pendulation is knowing that we can move through pain with safety and hope. So how do we do that? Well, knowing self as a starting point is so crucially important for that. So pendulation and titration, these are two key components to being able to deal with pain, challenge, difficulty, hardship in the immediate moment. Well, when I say immediate moment, well, in the immediate moment, in the now. That's how important it actually is. So if you can, and I'm going to expand on pendulation and titration in a moment. These are neurological functions. This is a neuroscience, the neuroscientific terminology. But beyond that, they're deep emotional coping strategies that can really assist us in moving past our pain points and connecting to them, not being so afraid of them, learning to be at one with our pain points. How beautiful is it when we can actually just be at one with the fullness of who we are, the wholeness of who we are. Give me number 4 in the comment box if you can resonate with that. Number 4 in the comment box if you can resonate with just being connected to self, being full with who we are. How beautiful is that? That embrace all the good stuff. That means that we embrace all the bad stuff. We embrace the negative, we embrace the positive. We simply just begin to connect fully to self, everything that we are. We don't polarize ourselves. So when we cease to polarize ourselves, what actually occurs is an ability to be whole, to be full, to not be fragmented, to be fully connected to self. That's an empowering state to be in. When we are fully connected to self, that's empowering. What happens through empowerment? Someone tell me, please, what happens when we are in a deeply empowered state of being? Someone just write a few words, 1 or 2 words. What happens when we are in an empowered state of being? Just someone, as many of you, please. Let's build this story together. Yeah, let's connect to this together. What happens? What occurs when we are in an empowered state of being? I love the vantage point, Anya. Don't knock the vantage point. Please don't knock the vantage point. Tara says, it's kind of like the concept of facing your fears like on Survivor Show. Once we stare into the pain, it dissipates and dissolves. Perfect, it does. It dissipates and dissolves because we develop a familiarity with it. Remember what we said about the ego? Familiarity breeds comfort, comfort breeds safety. When we're familiar with something, we will feel more safe naturally with it. Instead of repelling against it and pushing it away, we will feel safe with it. So what about these empowered points now? I'm the light and the dark. When I accept and embrace both, I'm free. That's empowerment, yeah? We experience oneness. That's empowerment. Energy is empowerment. We gain more freedom through empowerment. Charu, it's not beyond comprehension. Maybe you're a little bit tired. This is for everybody. Liberating, free, and love. When we're empowered, what happens? What states do we immerse ourselves in? As a byproduct of being empowered, what do we feel? What do we experience in life? We create. Anya, beautiful. Perfect. That's powerful. That's empowering. What else? Charu, come on, we can get this. Let's go. Let's get into this. Let's switch it on. Yeah, let's switch it on here. Let's turn this on. Let's open this up. Let's just open this right up. When we are empowered, what do we feel? What do we experience? Where are we in life? How do we position ourselves? Are we more susceptible to the wonderful opportunities that come in life? Of course we are. If you're just jumping on, put number 1 in the comment box so that I know that you're here. Freedom, become empowered to help others. Beautiful. If you're new, put new in the comment box. Everyone's saying hello to everyone. I love it. It's so endearing. It's such a beautiful place to be. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else right now. Ease and grace. Bernadette says ease and grace. My most excellent brother says peace in the mind. That's beautiful. That's exactly what happens when we are empowered. We find that inner peace. We drop into that tranquility within self because there is a balance and a wholeness that transpires. Connection. Angie says connection. Beautiful. These are fantastic adjectives, fantastic states that describe who we are, people. So let's go back to pendulation. How do we know that we can move through pain with safety and hope? Well, there's a number of ways. Firstly, let's know ourselves as best we can, yeah? Let's know ourselves in such a way that allows us to be the most grandest version of self. That's what we wish to do. So when we know ourselves, we know what we are capable of. We know our power. We're connected to our power. We know what we can do with what we have. We have confidence in our being. So Zoe says, we break down limiting beliefs in our own mind and are able to show other people what it means to be truly human. That's empowerment. Charu says, become more in alignment with the outer world as we are in alignment with ourselves. Yes, empowerment. Beautiful. Perfect. So pendulation. We can move through pain and challenge and difficulty and arduous times with safety and hope. And the more we are connected to self, the more we know self, the more we trust ourselves, the more we have a high level of self-worth, guess what happens? We are able to pendulate. We are able to move through the pain. And that's mental toughness. That's emotional toughness. That's spiritual toughness. Our ability to move through challenge. That's a toughness. Spiritual, mental, physical, emotional. To move through the challenge. To keep going. The grit that we must have in our being. That's toughness. Now, what else can we do to pendulate through challenge, through difficulty, through pain and disharmony? We can choose to surround ourselves with people that are of great value in our lives, that support our journey, that are here for us because they have a strong social support network. Give me number 5 in the comment box if you connect to and believe in having a strong support, a social network that is so crucial in our lives. Give me number 5 in the comment box. And Preet Dev says, what do you think pain is a message for us to draw a lesson from? That's a very individual, it's a great question. Fantastic question, but it is a very individual question. The pain that we experience will really be reflective of where we are in life. But what I will tell you with psycho-emotional pain is that it's not permanent. And fear is a temporary state. Psycho-emotional fear is a temporary state. It actually does not exist. Itself, in and of itself, it does not exist. But what it can do, the message that pain gives us, is an indication telling us that how we are living, how we are moving through the world, our belief systems, our models of reality, the way we're interacting with ourselves and with others is not suitable or sustainable for our life journey. It is not suitable or sustainable for where we are in life. Yeah? Oh, it's beautiful, Tara. Soul sisters, soul brothers, universal crew, I love it. So what I just said then, give me number 6 in the comment box if you can resonate with that, where the pain body that we're experiencing is a message for us to grow, to break through where we are at the moment, to break through our limited state, to break through the restriction, the fear that we are experiencing. And that's what pain is an indication of in our lives, an opportunity for growth and evolution of self, evolution of mind, opening of heart, evolution of our relationships. Give me number 6 in the comment box if you can resonate with that. And yeah, beautiful. So Nicole says, all pain and experience is an opportunity to grow. I quite like using the computer instead of the phone. I think it's better. I have more access to the comments. I can see what's going on. There's more mastery here. I like it. I'm really enjoying it. I think it's interactive as well. Yeah, that's cool. That's really cool. I like it. One moment. Cool. Oh yeah, I'm enjoying it. Anyway, I thought I'd share that with you. So that's pendulation, yeah? So titration now. Slow, methodical exposure, pain body to the challenge, because some of us have the capacity to be very tough mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, and then be very resilient. And resilience, mental, emotional, spiritual, physical, is our ability to recover from that challenge or to recover from that intensity and then move on to the next stage of life, whether it be intensity, challenge, pain, whatever, but just to keep moving through, moving on, moving through, moving on. Some people have tremendous capacity to go really deep, and it's something that has to be cultivated. It's an attitude, it's innate, but it's something that it's a skill that's cultivated, and there has to be a very deep intention and yearning to do so, and it's very challenging. So for most of us, it's slow exposure. There's been times in my life where I've chosen actively to slowly expose myself to something, and slow is very subjective, it's determinant on the individual. But of late, I've chosen to immerse myself very deep, very fast into various pain bodies. Like, I mean, very, very fast, very deep, like to the point where I have felt annihilation, like I've felt death, I've felt physical death, I've felt emotional death, I've felt psychological, spiritual death multiple times daily. I have very negative thoughts, but I have been supported in that journey, and I've also had a faith and a trust in myself at such a base level that I've allowed myself to be able to continue that depth of immersion. But it isn't for everyone, and it can be deeply challenging, it can be deeply harmful. I don't necessarily recommend it for everybody, yeah? So if you're just coming on, guys, let me know. Put number 1 in the comment box. Let me know that you're here. Oh, and the background isn't in reverse. Yeah, Tara, that's cool. Yeah, I like that. I know that you're here. Put number 1 in the comment box, and if you're new, put new in the comment box. Yeah, so that immersion, titration is all about slow exposure to the pain, slow exposure to understanding it, to connecting to it, to being with it, to assimilate it into the wholeness of your being. Yeah. But yeah, we need to understand the importance of that. So Preet says she has to go. Thank you so much for being here. Blessings from our heart as well to yours. Thank you so much. And Nicole, vulnerability is strength. Yeah, definitely. Vulnerability is strength. Vulnerability is definitely strength. And in my workshops that I'll be running very shortly around Australia, we speak very deeply to vulnerability, very, very deeply. It is the core and the crux of the workshop, and connecting to self and loving self and knowing self, and really improving and evolving our relationships. And what these particular 2 skill sets do, or these particular approaches do, in terms of these neural approaches, but also these emotional approaches, in terms of and titration, is allow us to be vulnerable. Is allow us to be fully immersed. Hi, I'm based in Perth, actually. So I'm based in Perth, Western Australia. For anyone out there that's yeah, I don't know. So I hope it's not me. But if someone else can have a look as well, and comment maybe, and let us know if the noise is no good. Please, if the noise is not working very well, please let us know. Awesome. So that slow exposure is you just want to you want to understand the pain and the challenge in stages. Receive the lesson, receive the teachings, receive the wisdom, assimilate that wisdom. Okay. One moment. Is that better with the sound? We're having a good sound today, have we? Is that better with the sound, people? You let me know if that's better. How's it going now? Scotty, yeah, I will be, brother. I will be doing a workshop in Brisbane, yes. How's the sound? It's fine now. Awesome. Thank you, brother. Thank you. Okay, wonderful. We're back to it. That's great. Okay, I think I just changed the mic. I think a bit of an issue with that mic. Yeah. Okay, so we want to understand that that if we sweep our issues under the carpet, okay, the proverbial carpet, sweeping our issues under the proverbial carpet, it's okay. It goes a little fuzzy every now and then. Okay, thank you. Seems okay. Okay, thank you. Sound good. Sound is good. Just image. Okay, hopefully the image will get better. So sweep our issues underneath the proverbial carpet. It makes it more frightening when it rears its ugly head, and it will rear its ugly head. And the reason why it will rear its ugly head is because it will play openly in our unconscious minds. It will play openly in our unconscious lives. That's exactly what will happen. And because we're not dealing with it, it's a huge surprise. It's a huge, huge surprise. I will drop a mic, Emma. I can feel it coming. I can feel the mic drop coming. I know it's coming. It's intuitive and innate within me that someone's going to drop a truth bomb, and I'm going to have to drop a mic. Whether it be me or whether it be one of you, it's going to happen. I can feel it on this live feed today. And at the worst, I'm just going to drop the mic for the sake of it anyway. So understand that the more we prolong, what resists persists, the more we prolong our power, the more we prolong in connecting to our power and connecting to our truth, and part of that truth is often facing fear, the challenge, the pain, the disconnect. It's going to be very frightening when it rears its ugly head, and it always will. And it's ugly because it's just left to its own devices, and that's not healthy. Why don't we just do like what's it called? What's the spontaneous dance? When people just, I've got a mental block. When people, they go and they dance in public. We should do like one of those mic drops in unison. Oh, what's it called? Someone help me out here. Come people, let's go. Someone help me out. What are those organised dance? Flash mob, that's it. Flash mic drop. Harlem Shake, a jig. No, flash mob, that's the one. I think we do like a flash mic drop, yeah? All right, I'm getting it's not Macarena. All right, so I'm getting distracted here. All right, so the mind recognizes the extent of the residence and of the residence of fear and this pain, and interprets it as further evidence of peril and disharmony. So we need to expose ourselves. That titration is so important. So, but we also need to understand that what is a healthy expression, and how do we express ourselves healthily? How do we connect to ourselves healthily? So generally tremendous amounts of energy is required to repress intense emotions such as rage. That could be associated with pain or fear. The perceived need to defend against its eruption leads us to debilitating shame of self. This plays out in our lives hugely, and it leads to perpetual exhaustion, like mental exhaustion, emotional fatigue, and it adds deep complexity to our lives, and therefore titration here becomes more crucial to disrupt this shame cycle than anything else. You give me number 7 in the comment box if you can recognize that, please, if you can resonate and relate to that. That avoidance in this case, instead of acceptance, adds deep complexity and to our situation. This is where titration becomes more crucial than ever to actually disrupting the shame cycle, because when we are experiencing and feeling shame, like, that is one of the worst debilitating feelings to have experientially for ourselves, but also for others, also for our relationships. So give me number 7 if you can deeply relate to wanting to shift the shame cycle and the guilt cycle. And it's toxic shame. It becomes, the feelings of worthlessness come into play, feelings of not being present, feelings of not being good enough, not being not of any value. It becomes a very, very dangerous game. So we can see that facing our fears is more than just shifting some fear or pain, and more than just being able to move through challenges and feel better about life. Shifting fear and exposing ourselves to fear, or facing our fears, becomes deeply about shifting shame and guilt, shifting toxic emotions. Tara said that perfectly. So shame comes from judgment of self, judgment that we are not enough, not good enough, we are not valued, we are not worthy, and acceptance of self, acceptance of our circumstances dissipates shame. Now, acceptance as an emotional response has far more aptitude than avoidance as an emotional response. Avoidance as a short-term solution can have some merit, absolutely, but in the long term, not at all. We must shift our perceptions of self, engage in a more healthy perspective by titrating our circumstances and deeply understanding and connecting to who we are. It becomes so crucial for our own growth. So we can understand at the end of all this that time does not heal all wounds at all. Time definitely doesn't heal all wounds. What heals wounds is our ability to go deep into our pain and challenge and disharmony and fear. What heals our wounds is our ability to face our pain, our ability to face our fears, our ability to be deeply connected to self, our ability to yearn, to understand self in a whole manner. That is what allows us to live freely and in a liberated manner, and to live from an empowered state of being. I don't know, titration. I'm thinking that would work. So Vanessa, that's absolutely right. Spiritual bypassing is not healthy, and it's huge in the spiritual movement because we in the New Age spiritual movement, the community of the New Age spiritual movement is polarized, where we want to avoid everything that is bad or negative or not healthy or not good or here it is. I want to feel into this. We lose ourselves if we polarize ourselves. So if we simply negate what ails us, or we negate what is not really attractive to us because it could cause us pain or hurt or disconnection, we move away from it. We are polarizing ourselves. Therefore, we're not embracing the fullness of reality. I know in my own experiences, when I've shut off my heart, when I've shut off my ability to be connected through this space here, I have not been able to embrace the fullness of life, and I've been disempowered, and I've been missing a component of my reality that I just haven't quite understood and haven't quite connected to, haven't really felt the fullness of, and I've sort of lost myself in that. Yeah, like I've really lost myself in that ability to just be full, because I'm not coming from heart and I'm only wanting to focus on what is working in life. So in the past, when I've done that and I've been that person, I haven't really experienced the wonder that life has to offer. I haven't been able to go into wholeness. In the past, I've gone fairly deep into my pain and my own suffering, but it's not until recently, the last few years, so 3 years even, that I've really been able to deep dive into that and embrace the polarity of duality and embrace this hardship and the challenge and the pain. But I've also had the greatest teachings from that. I've experienced the greatest wisdoms from that. And that for me has been deeply, deeply liberating, yeah? Dan, welcome brother, how are you? Good to have you here. So in that liberation, or in that liberated state of being, in that liberated feeling, I've found myself more connected to myself. I've found myself moving through life with greater freedom, with less constriction and less restriction, because I've been open to really facing those fears and those challenges. That where I thought I would be ostracized, I thought I would be judged and critiqued, and maybe people were, and that's fine, but I began to cease to judge myself, and I ceased to be so harsh on my own being, and rather began to come from a place of love. And love is a place of wholeness. Love is not like real love, like unconditional real love for self and for others. If you can do that, if you can be that person, you can embrace that. That's a place of wholeness. That's a place of truth, resonant truth. That's what that love is. Yeah. It's when we're able to do that and cultivate the fullness of that feeling of love, that wholeness, that's when we really grow and expand ourselves. And that's where we cease to be so hard on ourselves. And it's in that process, it's in that journey, should I say, that we then open up to the fear and open up to the pain and the challenge. And it becomes easier. Like it becomes easier to do so. We're able to embrace it with greater efficacy because we're not as scared of it. The fear diminishes. And again, titration is part of that. So that slow, methodical, general exposure to that fear is part of that. And knowing that time is an illusion, we have all the time in the world. And our success is based on intention. It's based on taking action, stepping into courage, and intending to search, to explore, to be that pioneer of self, to innovate self as best possible, to innovate one's heart and mind. And give me number 8 in the comment box if you can resonate with that. Number 8 in the comment box if you can resonate with that. And Emma says we are our own worst critics, and I completely agree with you, Emma, we are. We are so hard on ourselves, often so hard on ourselves, and there are reasons why we're hard on ourselves. And some of those reasons are because of external societal pressures or cultural influences and inferences. Some of those reasons are because we've grown up that way and we've believed or interpreted our own conditioning to be that we have to be hard on ourselves, or that we are not good enough unless we're really pushing and pushing and pushing. And again, that's a restricted state. Like we are losing when we're in that state. So, and all I can do is speak from my own experiences, from the people that I've spent time with, is that, and Nicole says this really well, what we fear has power, what we love has power. Choose love or choose fear, and that will have power. And I was speaking to this today as well, around consistency and consistency in self. And I did a video, I think it was on the 25th of June, on consistency and consistency in relationships and in relating, but in consistency in attitude and behavior and being self. The reality is consistency is so key in creating aptitude and creating love and creating efficiency and creating awareness and creating connection and consciousness around anything. That includes, if you're consistently angry, you will be consistently efficient and proficient and good at being angry. If you consistently come from a place of love, you will naturally fall more into grace in that place. If you are consistent in running, then you'll become a good runner. You become a proficient runner. And it's so important that we understand all of that, that what we are consistent at becomes us. So with respect to how we deal with pain and challenge, I've made a personal choice in my life to be consistent with the way I deal with that. And that is to face my challenges, face my fears, face my pain points, be at one with them, be whole with them, be connected to them. Recognize as a belief system that they are just part of life. They are an intricate part of who we are. And they're a valuable part of who we are. They help us grow. Carolyn, how are you? Welcome. Thank you for being here. So when something helps us grow, and when something helps us be the grandest version of ourselves, why would we not want to embrace that? Why would we not want to be a part of that and face that and acknowledge it and recognize it and just be with it? When that part of self, that fear, improves our lives and our relationships, it evolves our relationships, and it involves deeply who we are. How would we not want to embrace that and be a complete part of that in every single way? So I think that's really powerful, and I think it's authentically powerful, and it's authentically empowering as well, and deeply inspiring to be able to face our fears with great revelation and revealing, and face our fears with a yearning and a knowing that whatever we do in life, if we allow ourselves to be present to every aspect of life, we will win, for lack of a better term. But we will grow, we will expand, we will evolve. And I think that is deeply, deeply important. It's beautifully important. Star, welcome. Thank you for being here. When we connect to that from this place here, it opens our being to opportunities, and it opens us to those challenges that are so deeply important, that help us grow, because it is through challenge that we grow. Yeah, and it is through challenge that we realize and recognize that sometimes there are aspects of self that do not serve us. And by going deep into every crevice of who we are are able to quicker identify and realize, this is who I'm not anymore. This is who I do not wish to be anymore. Therefore, I will move away from this space. And I have a strength and a courage to do so. And that's really cool. Yelena, welcome. Just coming to the end of the feed. So I want to leave you there, people. And I want to say thank you so much for being here. I want to say many blessings on your journey. If you believe in this message, if you've got some value from this particular video around time and how to heal ourselves and how to move through life in a very particular way, please share the video. Share the video with your loved ones, share the video with your friends, share the video with whoever you may feel would benefit from this. I'd be deeply grateful for that. We want to spread this message of gratitude and connection and love and healing, and knowing that we can face our fears, and that's imperative that we do face our fears. And in fact, when we face our challenges and our pain points, we grow and we develop profoundly from them. And that's the message that we are sharing here. So, and more people that do that become grander versions of themselves, the world becomes a better place. The world becomes a more evolved place, a place of growth and connection. Because we're facing all aspects of ourselves, we are not polarizing ourselves. So you can give me number 9 in the comment box if you can resonate and agree with that. And of course, please feel free to share this video. And I'll drop a mic next time. Thank you, Yelena. Yeah, I feel it's a beautiful subject matter to be able to open up fully to our pains in life and our challenges in life and our fears in life, and be at one with them and not have shame around that. There is no shame in experiencing fear, people. There is no shame in experiencing pain and challenge. We grow from that. It requires great strength and power and stability and posturing and verticality and courage, conviction, to face what ails us the most, where we feel the most pain in our lives. It really, really does. Crystal, welcome. So, to everyone, I hope everyone has a beautiful evening, morning, day, wherever you are in the world, of course. And again, please share this video if you resonate. Share this video if it means something of worth to you. And of course, I will see you again on the next live feed Sunday. I will see you on Sunday evening. And I'm not sure what I'm going to speak to yet. It will come to me on the day, I'm sure. I will figure it out. But many blessings for wherever you are in the world. Thank you so much. Much love, and I shall see you very soon.